Hello everyone! Welcome back to Neffy Cat! We're so glad that you can join us today. Today I want to talk about 10 things that the market can teach you about emotions. The stock market is a place, believe it or not, where you can gain emotional mastery, and if you don't, you'll pay the price. There's something so, this is his favorite little mousey, everyone. And look as he takes it. Yes. What is that mousey saying about the market? So some of these points we have discussed prior, but they are worth reviewing. And then there's some that I haven't talked about yet that are going to be great for and help you when you're making trading decisions and financial decisions in your life. So one of the first things that's really important is to use strategy and not emotions in financial decision making. This includes trades that you're thinking about making, and this includes other things as well. This includes financial decisions, like even going to topics like real estate, or do you spend extra money rather than saving it, making sure you follow your 10% rule. You want to stick to the strategies that you have in mind. And in the stock market, that's more important than ever, because if you don't, the market will control you. Oh, look at this. He sometimes takes this little mouse and brings it over to me in the mornings so that I can play with it with him. It's his favorite. It's not a real mouse, it's a toy mouse, but it's his favorite. Yeah, he uses strategy and brings it over to mommy. And then this is something that relates to right now, because we have a lot of FUD in the market. We have a lot of crashing going on in our market for the past several days. And that's not to panic, even when those types of things happen, no matter what. When difficult things happen financially, you use that to help yourself train and to learn better, rather than just panicking blindly. That's one thing you don't want to do. That is how you lose your money. That is how you blow up accounts. That is how you make a poor financial decision. You also never want to fall for hopium. So hopium happens when somebody just buys blindly into the market, into a stock. They get themselves convinced, oh, this thing's going to go up. It's just going to go up forever. And they're not using fundamental analysis or technical analysis to see what's going on. Yes, they go into hopium and they don't make sure that that company has a solid concept, a proof of concept, you'll hear people say, or that they may not have earnings reports that are positive. And you want to make sure to be careful about that. Hopium can hurt you just as bad as blind panic can. Another that I have mentioned in the past is don't give in to FOMO or FUD, which goes into too much hope or too much fear and panic. So FOMO is the fear of missing out. You might buy in before you should. Or FUD, the fear, uncertainty, and doubt, and you'll sell off before you should. Yes. Yeah, look how he's not just falling for that. Yeah, he's hunting his mouse quite successfully. And sometimes when it comes to the market, you end up realizing that you need to do the opposite of what others are doing emotionally. So when a lot of people are going, and they're selling off in a sector and the stocks are just falling down, well, you want to do the opposite. That's when you want to buy in. Those are when you get your deals. The market often goes up after that and does a lot of good for you. Yeah, you wait, you hold those for a while. It's called hodling, and you'll hodl those with patience, and then maybe in 6 months it's going to go up and you're going to get all sorts of gains. So you oftentimes do have to do the opposite of what others have done in order for that to happen. And when everybody is over FOMOing and buying in and buying in and buying in, well, when it's at that top and they're thinking, oh, the stock is going to run forever, that's when you sell off. This next point is very important, and this is something that takes self-regulation, self-discovery to do, because you don't want to deceive yourself by what you want to. And that is to make sure not to make decisions financially when you're feeling overly emotional. If you are feeling attached and you're saying, oh my gosh, I want that stock so bad, you may make a miscalculation in your judgment and buy in at a time where you shouldn't. And you may even convince yourself that you should. That self-deception can be very dangerous too. But you got to learn how to check yourself, and you make sure, you know what? I'm feeling more emotional today than usual. I'm more stressed out today than usual. Or I recognize that I'm having hopium. I recognize that my emotions are too strong right now. It's not the right time to trade. I remember years ago when I was learning about, advice from people about, say, shopping and not overspending yourself. I remember people saying, well, let yourself sit on it for a day. And if you, the next day, find that you still really want something, then you can think about how to get it. And you can plan for buying it instead of being forced, instead of hoping or falsely buying in before you should, and then regretting the decision later. That's a really important one. With financial intelligence, it's really important to use wisdom. Use wisdom and patience. I do believe that it was Warren Buffett who was telling everyone that patience is really one of the most rewarding virtues that the market has. Those who gain wealth are patient. They know when to sell and when to buy. They follow their strategy, they follow their structure, and they don't mess with it. They be patient. They don't just sell out because everyone's panicking. They may average down instead. Or they don't buy in when everybody's saying, oh, that stock is never going to fall. It's the hottest thing you've ever seen. They use patience and wisdom, and they might wait for that stock to go down when they have a bunch of negative articles about it out, and everybody's FOMOing or fudding, I'll say, and selling off. Then they're going to buy in, which brings us to the next point. Don't fall for greed. Greed is a dangerous enemy, and greed will make you buy in when you shouldn't. Greed will make you lose your money. If you feel greedy, catch yourself and use strategy instead. Yes, how about you with hunting? If you got greedy, you might jump too soon, wouldn't you? Yes, you might jump before you should. If you wanted a birdie or you wanted a mouse, yes, you might be careless. And it's very important not to be. I like this saying, and I'm going to share it with you here. You must master your emotions, or the market will master you. I feel that way about life at large, not just the market. If you don't master your emotions as you make decisions in your life, the life will master you. And the same for your own mind. If you do not know your own mind, others will know your own mind and use it against you. And it's not, most people in this world in real life are very nice and kind, and so that's not universal across the board, but it's still a factor, and there are those who would. In the stock market, it is more important than ever because everybody is into this market to bring money into their lives. And if they're careless with that, the market will eat them up. And this is a big point right here. Don't blame others, because the worst enemy that you have in the stock market is yourself. The worst enemy is you. If you don't control your emotions and work from intelligence with your decisions financially, you will hurt yourself. Right now, we kind of have a movement of people being angry at hedge funds and angry at different places in the market that take advantage of situations, or even on purpose set situations up so they'll gain money while lots of other people lose it. Well, if you're the one that fell into it, you have yourself to blame. It's like swimming in a sea with sharks there. If you're in an ocean with sharks, you better know how sharks behave. And if you got bit, you'd have to look at, well, why did that happen? And learn from it instead of just blaming sharks and think all sharks are evil. That's not true. Or all sharks are just out there being mindless hunters, which also isn't true. If you blame others, you can't learn from your experience. So learn from those mistakes instead of blaming anybody else. Recognize, well, I am my own worst enemy in the market. Sometimes arrogance can also be a factor. Somebody can think that they have their skills down. Maybe they learned how to do some trading while the market was a bull market. And they can get arrogant thinking, oh, I know what I'm doing. And then they won't listen when somebody wise comes along and tells them, you might not want to put all your stocks into one, all your money into one stock. You might want to diversify, or, that stock is valued really high right now. It may even be overvalued. You might want to be careful before you buy in. Remember that you're your own worst enemy, and that your own positive, or especially your negative traits, but even your hopium and some that seem positive can be your worst enemy. So don't blame others. Those are things that the market can show you about your own emotions and about emotions at large. And I thought I wanted to share this, because who would have ever thought that you could learn emotional wisdom and intelligence, and that you even need to, in order to successfully trade in the stock market and in financial education altogether. In the financial areas, so many people really do make emotional decisions when it comes to finances, including, oh, I love that house, I want it so bad, and that's getting into greed, and then they don't plot out strategically, can I realistically afford that? Is that actually something worth all of the effort that it would take me to get it? What problems might that place have? And then thinking about just money in general. Like, oh, I want that shiny new object, instead of making sure that your debts are paid off. Well, you can pay a lot more for that later. You're hurting your future self when you do things like going into negative debt. Oh, somebody hears a bird. Somebody hears a bird. Yes, and sometimes with little ones like this, we have to be careful for them. And their emotions could get themselves hurt too. Well, thank you so much for sharing this time with me today. Don't forget to take those paws and push that like button. You can hit the subscribe bell as well, so that you can see all of Nefertim's videos. We really appreciate that. You can hit the notification bell, and don't forget to share this video with others so that they can learn too. Thank you so much, everyone. Thank you for sharing this time with us today. We really appreciate that. Thank you. Have a wonderful day.